Hello, my name is Hannah Davidson, and I will be doing therapy with Rebecca this evening. My client's name is Rebecca, and her target for intervention is for generalized anxiety disorder with unspecified trauma. She has been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder in the past, but it's been a few years since she has had an upcoming CDA or has acted on her diagnosis. So this is her first time in therapy. The client often feels as if it's hard for her to form relationships and friendships in social settings. This intervention will target on how the negative distortions may lead to avoidance and hesitation in her life, which in turn can contribute to negative thoughts and emotions and does not lead to successful development towards her goals. So it doesn't let her move forward in her social interactions. I will be working with the CBT theory with her, so we'll be doing cognitive behavioral theories and practices. The theoretical approach will be using reframing techniques to help improve her state of mind, to get her from reframing her thoughts from negative to more positive thoughts. I will also use positive planning, where we will locate the problem that she's facing and brainstorm for impactful solutions. I will also demonstrate during the session using positive self-statements with the client in order to counteract negative thoughts. So if she presents with a negative emotion, we'll work towards transitioning those into positive emotions and to positive goal-oriented solutions. I would evaluate the outcome of effectiveness, given the target being presented in a way of progression, in evaluating overall effectiveness with this client. This client is new to therapy and has had a lot of weight on her, constant on her shoulders. So I think the main focus will be talk therapy and slightly transitioning into more positive solution-based outcomes for her. I would ask the client to participate in weekly homework assignments in order to be able to track her progress and to be able to dedicate time outside of therapy where she can spend time that she would spend relaxing, thinking about progression in therapy. So working towards her goals throughout her daily routines. Hi, Rebecca. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right, thank you.
How has your week been going for you?
It's been okay, some ups and downs, but for the most part,
Yeah, sometimes we have, those good days and bad days, but that's a good thing about emotions, I think, is that we're able to, feel when we were feeling sad, we can appreciate the better times. And so what brings you in today?
just been feeling like I'm really struggling with making and maintaining friendships and relationships.
Yeah, that's really hard, especially like I feel like at your age, it's kind of in that limbo as to how to form these relationships.
Yeah, now that I'm not in school anymore, it's kind of hard to like meet people, and I don't know, everyone seems too busy to be a good friend.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely understand where you're coming from. What social interactions do you participate in currently?
Not a ton, honestly. I mean, I do have one or two friends that I spend time with, and we normally just hang out, go get food or something, but there's
Yeah,
not a ton of like social things I go and do besides maybe going to the bar.
yeah. Again, like with the age, it's kind of like where you're at, And for us, I mean, for the age we're in, um, what would be like an ideal social interaction for you?
Hmm. I don't know. That's a tough question.
Yeah. Maybe you can encourage so the friends that you were mentioning before, the ones that you had said that when you do a social interaction with, instead of the bar, maybe you can suggest like maybe a brewery where you're like still able to be around that environment, but then there's like games and things like that. That way you can meet new people.
Hmm.
Does that sound like something you'd like to do
Yeah, definitely.
for, more social engagement?
Hmm.
Um, what else? What about work? Where are you working?
I'm serving and nannying right now, so when I'm nannying, it's just me and the girls. But I do have quite a few coworkers at the serving job.
Nice. Do you think that you'd feel comfortable to ever ask one of them if they'd like to hang out, like outside of work.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a couple girls that I feel like I could be friends with.
Yeah, that'd be good. Maybe you can, just share a little bit about yourself and then see if there's any like common interests there and, work on that and one
Hmm.
step at a time there.
Yeah.
That could be a stepping stone in the right direction for sure. What do you think if you had these social interactions? How would that make you feel overall?
I just feel like I would feel more fulfilled, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Can you give me like an example of what you mean?
Just like being able to give and receive energy with somebody, like I feel like is really important and something that we all need. So being able to have that, I feel like is.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Just as humans, we kind of crave that social interaction and we like to be validated, and I
Hmm.
think getting those social interactions in return will help for just kind of sharing your thoughts with someone else and being able to, talk about your day just in general to
Hmm.
somebody else. Yeah.
I think where I struggle the most is feeling like people can't or aren't willing to like reciprocate the same level of energy and like interest in the friendship.
Yeah.
And that gets hard because I feel like I'm the only one like putting in effort a lot of times.
Yeah, definitely like a big effort thing.
Hmm.
It is hard because especially the way I think communication plays a big role in it too. The way that a text message, for example, kind of comes off, like
Hmm.
there's no emotions behind text messaging. And so you could read it in a way as to more negative, and someone could also read it as a negative way. And that kind of hinders the relationship a little bit or the effort being made. Yeah,
Hmm.
I totally understand. Yeah. Well, I think it's great that you're trying and that you presented this, concern that you're having and are willing to want to work on it. So that's a step in the right direction. I think something that could help would be to, like I mentioned before, maybe share a little about yourself to coworkers, and see if there's any like step you can take outside of the work relationship and kind of transition into more of a social setting with them.
Hmm.
And then maybe with the friends that you do have now, like transition to more of a hobby based thing. So that makes you, like you had mentioned before, feel more fulfilled,
Hmm.
in things that you want to do. So you kind of get to do your social interactions, but also at the same time, you get to fulfill that, you know, the empathy and the energy that you're craving from a friendship or relationships in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that pointing out those positives, like you said, like you can give that energy yourself, and that's great. That's a great characteristic in a friendship and to move forward with in a relationship, really. And as long as you hold these things accountable to yourself with, then hopefully you can attract those kind of characteristics back.
Hmm.
Good. Okay, well, I think that I'm gonna suggest something that you could do, at home, that will maybe help you feel better in expressing like your feelings or maybe your empathy that you're kind of wanting from somebody else. Have you ever journaled before or have you heard of journaling?
Hmm.
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
I like journaling. I don't do it as much as I probably should, but
Yeah.
I have found it to be helpful in the
Good.
past.
Good. Like maybe you get like kind of that weight comes off your shoulders a little bit,
Yeah.
kind of write down your feelings and stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I would like for you to maybe start journaling twice a week.
Okay.
You could do it, I recommend doing it like in a relaxing time, so either like before you're going to bed, kind of when you're already like thinking about those thoughts, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Not where you have to like set separate time away to actively think about these thoughts, but if you're going to bed and you're kind of just going to lay there and think about how your day went, and maybe you write down for 5 minutes how your day went and three positive things and three things that you'll want to work on tomorrow. So you're kind of reframing your transition as to what you're seeking from others and also what you're wanting from social interactions.
Okay.
But if you can also do it like, after a bath or after a shower, or you can make it a part of your morning routine, anything that you think will be effective for you where you will do it without having it to be a chore, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Something that you can just kind of implement into your day. And then you can, share next time we meet, you could share about some of the things that you kind of see consistently.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's more like empathy that you really needed that day or you really could have used to make you feel better, we can work on that and like some empathy tips and tricks and move forward from there.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So is it okay for me next Tuesday? Same
Yeah.
time?
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course, thank you.